The tension that had been unfolding off the coast of Venezuela grew into one of the most intense maritime military situations the region had witnessed in recent years. The presence of heavily armed forces, unpredictable coastal movements, and the involvement of multiple small vessels that often operated without identification signals created a landscape filled with uncertainty and pressure. Over the span of several days, the waters surrounding the area became the center of a complex and delicate standoff, where even the smallest decisions carried enormous weight. For the forces deployed on the ships, every moment blended anticipation with discipline, as no one could predict how quickly calm seas could turn into chaotic confrontation. Across the ships involved in the operation, Marines moved with practiced calm, though the atmosphere kept tightening with every new intelligence update. Reports suggested that several unidentified vessels had been operating close to the perimeter of the task group, using erratic routes that raised suspicion. The region was already known for smuggling networks, armed maritime groups, and irregular patrols backed by different Venezuelan factions, making the distinction between civilian and hostile vessels increasingly difficult. This ambiguity elevated the risk level for every mission, placing significant responsibility on those tasked with monitoring, intercepting, and reacting to sudden developments. During the early hours of the operation, a pattern began forming as surveillance systems detected unusual movements. One incident in particular marked a turning point. A small, fast-moving boat began heading toward the bow of one of the amphibious ships. The boat ignored repeated communication attempts, leading to the activation of escalation protocols. Warning calls over the radio were followed by flares, yet the unidentified vessel still pushed onward as if testing the limits. When the aircraft above fired a controlled burst of warning shots into the water, the situation took on a new level of seriousness. That brief burst served as a signal to the boat, forcing it to divert direction, but it also created a wave of reaction within Venezuelan monitoring stations, which immediately claimed aggression and used the encounter as evidence in their messaging. This only deepened the tension. While one side viewed the actions as necessary defensive measures, the other portrayed them as deliberate provocations. Yet for the Marines on deck, the mission remained unchanged: maintain readiness, avoid escalation, and respond with precision only when absolutely required. Their training emphasized control and restraint, even under increasingly stressful circumstances. Each Marine knew that a miscalculated move could ignite a larger conflict, and therefore they adhered strictly to protocol. As tension spread across the region, leadership made the decision to increase patrols. This meant deploying fast response boats to get a closer look at vessels that lingered near the area. Marines prepared rapidly, grabbing gear, weapons, radios, helmets, and protective equipment. These small boat missions were some of the riskiest tasks in maritime operations, as approaching unknown vessels carried unpredictable outcomes. Boarding teams operated in close proximity to potential threats, always knowing that they might encounter armed individuals or smuggling networks trying to exploit the situation. Still, they launched with professionalism, fully aware of the dangers ahead. The next critical event unfolded after surveillance drones detected movement near a coastal location believed to be used by irregular armed groups. Observations from above indicated hidden caches of equipment. Leadership decided to neutralize the threat before it could be mobilized. A precision bomb drop was authorized, delivered with the goal of striking without causing unnecessary damage to nearby civilian areas. When the bomb detonated, secondary explosions erupted, confirming the presence of ammunition or weapon storage. Smoke rose over the coastline as the strike sent clear shockwaves through the region. The reaction was immediate, with Venezuelan officials condemning the act while military analysts argued that the strike likely prevented a larger threat from emerging. Despite the strike's effectiveness, the pressure on the Marines grew stronger. They were ordered to maintain elevated alert levels. This included live fire exercises conducted on deck, both as readiness training and a demonstration of capability. The deck transformed into a controlled but intense environment filled with the sound of rifles, machine guns, and automatic weapons engaging simulated targets. Spent casings clattered onto the surface as Marines practiced quick repositioning, transitioning between weapons, and coordinating with lookout units who were tracking potential maritime threats. Each session reinforced their readiness, ensuring that if real danger approached, they would respond with precision and discipline. While these exercises continued, the small boat teams remained active. They launched repeatedly into the waves, navigating toward vessels that either appeared suspicious or acted unpredictably. Communication between the main ships and the fast boats stayed constant, transmitting updates through encrypted channels. These teams practiced boarding maneuvers repeatedly, how to approach a vessel from different angles, how to secure unknown individuals, and how to conduct quick but thorough inspections. Even when missions turned out to involve harmless fishing boats or confused travelers, the Marines maintained the same level of vigilance. As night fell, the tension only grew heavier. Darkness brought challenges that daylight did not. Every moving shadow, every shifting wave, and every unlit boat appeared suspicious. Night vision goggles and infrared devices became essential tools. Drones equipped with thermal cameras flew overhead, scanning for heat signatures. The ship's long-range sensors monitored distant vessels that moved quietly across the waterline. At one point, a Venezuelan patrol vessel appeared to shadow the task group from a distance. It made no aggressive maneuvers but maintained an irregular trajectory that kept everyone uneasy. Though confrontation was avoided, the unpredictability of the vessel's behavior forced watch teams to increase observation efforts. The following day brought a surge of new intelligence. Intercepted communications suggested that certain smuggling operations planned to exploit the ongoing tension to transport illegal cargo toward Venezuelan shores. This intelligence prompted the command to launch additional interception missions. The small boat teams were deployed again, this time faster and more aggressively. They raced through the waves, kicking up water as helicopters provided aerial coverage. One high-speed chase stood out. When Marines approached a suspicious vessel, the crew attempted to flee. Commands were issued, but the boat continued moving. After several warnings, a shot was fired beside the vessel, finally forcing it to stop. Upon inspection, the cargo turned out to be illegal goods, not weapons, but the discovery intensified speculation about how many similar boats might be operating under cover of confusion. As hours passed, the international spotlight began focusing more closely on the events unfolding near Venezuela's coastline. Journalists and analysts debated the possibility of an accidental clash that could spiral into a broader conflict. Diplomatic channels attempted to de-escalate the situation, but with so many actors, government vessels, irregular groups, smugglers, fishermen, and foreign naval forces, sharing the same waters, the chances of miscalculation remained high. The Marines, however, were trained precisely for such environments, where restraint mattered as much as readiness. The days that followed were a mix of tense calm and sudden surges of activity. Sometimes long stretches passed without any major incident, but in such periods, anxiety remained. Everyone knew that silence did not guarantee safety. The complexity of the maritime environment meant that threats could appear at any time, from any direction, and often without warning. Marines rotated through shifts tirelessly, scanning horizons, manning observation posts, and ensuring that all equipment remained ready for immediate use. When the sea became rougher, the small boat missions became more dangerous. Waves slammed against the hulls of the RHIBs, forcing crews to brace themselves as they executed their tasks. Yet their operations continued. Each mission tested their endurance, their coordination, and their ability to maintain composure under pressure. Back on the ships, deck crews kept equipment secure, prepared for potential launches even in challenging weather. Eventually, intelligence reports showed reduced activity from suspicious vessels and decreased movement near known smuggling routes. This suggested that the heightened presence of Marines and naval forces had effectively disrupted operations that relied on stealth and unpredictability. Despite this improvement, forces aboard the ships avoided relaxing their posture. They knew the pattern. Calm could be temporary, and threats often resurfaced when least expected. During quieter moments, Marines cleaned weapons, reviewed protocols, discussed earlier encounters, and prepared for the next shift. Many had experienced similar deployments but noted that this situation carried a unique intensity. Operating near a politically charged region, facing irregular groups and unknown vessels, and balancing the responsibility of deterrence with the need to avoid escalation created a mentally challenging environment. Their professionalism remained evident, visible in their movements, their interactions, and their discipline. They acted as though every hour could be the hour when everything changed. As more days passed without another major incident, the overall situation slowly began to stabilize. The standoff had not transitioned into open conflict, but the risk had been real throughout the operation. The bomb strike, warning shots, deck shooting drills, small boat intercepts, nighttime surveillance, and delicate interactions with maritime traffic formed a sequence of moments that would be analyzed for months to come. These events demonstrated not only the capability of the forces operating in the area but also the fragility of peace in contested waters. By the time the operation began winding down, the Marines understood that though the situation had calmed externally, the political ripples of the encounter would continue affecting the region. Even so, they took pride in how they handled the tension. Their ability to navigate pressure, maintain control, respond with precision,